Who attacked Jay White? The Bullet Club Gold leader was laid left out backstage at the end of AEW Dynamite by a group of masked men, one of them wearing the notorious devil mask owned by MJF. We're going to try and get to the bottom of this one ourselves, as well as obviously go through AEW Dynamite, the go home show, to the inaugural AEW Wrestle Dream pay-per-view, as well as obviously try and get some predictions in as well. What's up, people? It's your boy Mekz, the WrestleManiac, if you will, back again for another episode of Revolution Radio, and I'm alongside my co-host NK.
Yo, people, it's your boy NK, aka the man owl, too sweet to be sour, aka the Hood Chinese correspondent, you know, CEO president of the TDM. You know, had to bring the TDM in it since we're doing Wrestle Dream, even though it doesn't feel like a wrestle in no key card. It's a great card. It's a very great AEW card. Is it an Inoki card? No, but you know, we're not here to nitpick. But I just had to say, address the elephant in the room. This ain't an Inoki tribute, but it's a damn good AEW show.
Yeah. Big up Joe Holbert, who we had here a couple of weeks back now. I was talking to him on my channel and he said, yeah, they basically just used Inoki to kind of do some type of reminiscent to him, because yeah, it ain't really been like that. But we're gonna get to, you know, this was all in all a good show, kind of building towards this pay-per-view that we got on the weekend. But right at the end, we got something that was super abrupt. They were doing the rundown of the show. We just had the Hangman Swerve promo, and it cuts to the back. 4 men in ski masks, all blacked out, are beating up on Jay White, who, you know, I will say was suspiciously alone, never really alone, because he's always with Bullet Club Gold. Beaten up on the floor, thrown around, kicked in, blah, 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 threw him against one of these road cases. The camera pans to the right-hand side. We see a figure wearing, like I said in the intro, the notorious MJF devil mask. We got people, them in the comments, early doors, Rain, I think it's Edge and some other people. Is your outer door, I think it's Roddy's crew and Kyle O'Reilly. There are names. I've got a list myself that I had. Like, I mean, I think the first one that most people have ruled out is MJF himself, just because they're looking at the physical stature of the person. Yeah. But where I don't want to necessarily look too much into that is because I think, like we've seen a couple of times in wrestling in general, the person that we're seeing on screen now doing all this thing may not actually be so far it actually is going to end up being. So yeah, NK, I'll throw it over to you. Who were your like prime suspects for this?
So a lot of people did say Kyle O'Reilly. You know, because of the whole, some people even saying Adam Cole, which due to the injury, I don't know how viable that is.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'm spun because it's like it's an attack on Jay White. And obviously they have an affiliation to MJF because of the mask. So I'm thinking, okay, who has a vendetta against Jay White, but also what's the, like, you know, ride for MJF? I'm just thinking, like, first thing I'm thinking is it the Kingdom? But then the Kingdom are feuding with MJF. So
let me stop you there. So I initial thought immediately as well, looked at the frame and everything. I've said Adam Cole, the Kingdom, and Kyle O'Reilly will be, or if it's not Kyle O'Reilly, then Roddy Strong, whatever. But then I thought the mask, and exactly like you're saying, they're not riding for MJF. I thought this is to set up MJF. So now MJF looks like a heel again, and MJF is obviously then going to plead his innocence, like, that wasn't me, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, how could you, blah, 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 for you on the straight and narrow. Although, like we say, the person didn't physically look like MJF in any way. That's who I thought. That's my immediate thought. I had outside thoughts of LFI, Obviously, Andrade is feuding with them lot right now. Who else did I thought Bullet Club Gold themselves, and maybe there's a new Bullet Club Gold leader. And then I thought Bullet Club War Dogs.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
anything else out of that is it could be, but
it could be anything. But like even the ending, I know we're skipping ahead to the end, but even just the way Dynamite ended, like you saw like it was a classic NXT trick that AEW did, where they show like the copyright logo AEW. I remember NXT did that with Tommaso Ciampa and Gargano, where you think the show's over, you see the logo, copyright logo, and then you just see Jay White getting stomped out, and I'm like, AEW don't do this a lot, and the fact it just came as a shock, a surprise. Yeah, AEW don't do these cliffhangers like that. So now I'm just speculating, like, what is going on? And I'll get to the show as a whole, but there was a lot of stuff they did on the show that reminded me of classic AEW, like 2020, 2019 AEW. I'll talk about segment by segment, but yeah, like I remember when Joe was on the show, we had a conversation about identity, about AEW kind of, and there was definitely some sports entertainment angles. I think you're always going to get that in wrestling, but there were a lot of things that AEW did previously that they haven't done in a while that they did tonight that I was like, finally, we're doing. And there were little things, but it made me feel like this is old school AEW again. So yeah, we'll get into it.
I want to hear what you got to say when we get there, because there was something particularly which we'll get to in a second, which I thought this wasn't AEW at all. I didn't mind it. When we, we'll get there, but yeah. And then of course the other names that people will speculate. I see a couple of people in the chat as well. Edge, Edge and maybe a crew. I thought of the WWE releases. Obviously, it's not them right now, but if they go long term with this, we've seen Mustafa Ali lead Retribution in a similar looking get up and stuff like that. You see what I mean? So maybe, but it's kind of playing in as well with this whole "this is the end of an era" stuff that TK has been saying. Like, is what is going to change? Just quickly on that, like, obviously you must have heard that chat from him. Like, what do you think? We spoke about this on the podcast coming out tomorrow. What do you think this end of an era, or this is the beginning of a new era? What do you speculate he's talking about?
As much as I love Tony, he can be hyperbolic at times, right? So I took it with a lot of grain of salt and just thought, okay, maybe this is like the HBO Max era, because obviously
that's what I thought.
There's the contractual stuff, and obviously we're seeing a lot more pay-per-views. But I don't know what end of an era could mean in regards to the product, because it's not like they're signing a ton of new guys. Like, it's not like they're signing, or they've got a crop of young talent. Like, a lot of the talent they're using are either guys that have been established in AEW for a while, or they're homegrowns. So I don't, and the product, while we've said the product has shifted tonally, it's still it's not been like a dramatic shift where, oh my god, they've teared down the set, or do you know what I'm saying? So I don't know exactly what end of an era could mean. I just took it literally as, okay, like, we're going to HBO Max, and we're probably going to get some new pay-per-views and some new content. That's what I took it as. But I mean, if we are talking in regards to the product, I wonder what that could mean. Could it mean certain guys are retiring? I don't know. I mean, we said Danielson's on his last legs, but I don't know. I'm not too sure. The Elite just re-signed, so I don't see them retiring anytime soon. They just literally re-signed. So, this end of an era stuff is interesting.
I took it as that as well. The HBO stuff, 12 pay-per-views a year, all of that just kind of moved. The stuff that may not necessarily affect us so much as watchers of the show, but just more content or something like that. The streets have been saying that he's bought New Japan and stuff like that. I don't know. So I guess we'll see. It's sounding like we're saying, the new era begins post this weekend. So we'll see on that. But yeah, very interesting angle. Love a bit of a who done it, who is it, angle in wrestling. So it's going to be interesting to see how long term, firstly, that they go with this, and yeah, who is going to actually be be behind the mask and the group, maybe if it is going to be a group or just a group of hired men, really. But yeah, we'll get into the show. Like we saying, this is the go home show for AEW Wrestle Dream. So this is my point. Yeah, I was watching this show and I'm preparing my notes and stuff for obviously today for now. 4 matches. There was only 4 matches on this card, and they were all in and around 8 to 10 minutes. Great matches. But we're talking identity the other week, and I'm just thinking, like this isn't AEW. They like it's usually probably around 5-6 matches.
Yeah.
Obviously, maybe with the pay-per-view, there was a lot of maybe last minute promo sections they kind of went heavy on. That we know that MJF, Jay White, and obviously what happened before that, they really went kind of long on, but it was enjoyable. But 4 matches that accumulated to about, I think I saw 38 minutes, I think, on a 2-hour show. I was like, okay, this is something new, but we'll see if it's something that they continue, or is it more now this new era, like we're talking, are we moving more towards sports entertainment and less so pro wrestling?
I think because, especially due to last week's Collision show, that was so wrestling heavy, where I think what they're gonna do now, I think obviously the sample size is small, but I think right now, especially under the Danielson regime, because Collision is now Danielson's show, transfer to Punk to Danielson, that seems like the wrestling show, and this feels like the storyline heavy show. But like I said, I have a problem with it too much, because for the most part, like, I think we're building towards a pay-per-view 1, so I'm like, okay, cool. You can forego a bit of like the matches, but 2, we find like this is something that hasn't happened in AEW for a while. We've always praised AEW. Oh, I know, for like announcing matches ahead of time. Oh, we know what's happening next week. But for the past couple months now, it's been like, we don't know exactly what's happening next week. This show felt very structured. I know what's happening on Sunday, and I have an idea of like big matches that are happening next week. So for me, it's like, okay, it's set up and then pay off next week. So, but like I said, I'll get into more detail about the segments I really liked. But I feel like now that you've got 2 A shows instead of like an A and a B show and Rampage, you've got Collision and Dynamite, which are both being treated as must-watch TV.
Yeah,
you have more time to like, okay, let's focus on the wrestling Collision this week. Let's focus on the promos this week, and don't be surprised if it switches one week where Dynamite will have mad matches and Collision will just be promos.
Yeah, that could be a way. Big up Gareth, who was up here a couple of weeks back. He says, I think AEW needs to find more of a balance between entertainment and matches. Yeah, this show was heavy on the entertainment. The matches were good as well, but yeah, it was definitely heavy on entertainment, and that's what I thought. I just kind of, I didn't mind it because it's got a pay-per-view on Sunday, and I thought, yeah, they're trying to sell people on the pay-per-view. But yeah, we'll see kind of going forward, and if this whole new era stuff plays into the look of the show. So yeah, getting into the actual show, it opened up with an international title match, Rey Fenix versus Jeff Jarrett. Rey Fenix, obviously new champion by default, whatever you want to call him, but yeah, him and Jeff Jarrett opened the show. Really good match. Like I'm sure Jeff Jarrett has been doing some really good work for a long time now. Rey Fenix as well, one of the best workers in the company. He retained the title here with a small package. Solid match. Do you want to add anything, NK?
Nah, it was a solid title defense, isn't it? Yeah, just solid match. Like, it's Jeff Jarrett in it, so you know what to expect. No, I'll be real. I did think Jeff Jarrett was struggling to hang with Phoenix there. And I feel like those certain moments I'm like, Felix is slowing down to like compensate for Jarrett. But it wasn't a bad match. It was just like, okay, whatever. But we're gonna get a good one next week. So I can't,
Who we got next week?
Nick Jackson.
Oh yeah, he won the
Yeah.
Oh, Gabanga.
So
Yeah.
So you know what? Because I was
Bandisi.
gonna say, because I let the show play out, but I was gonna say, come on, you can't be starting Ray Phoenix's title reign with Jeff Jarrett and that.
Sure.
But I said, okay, next week, all right, cool. You shut me up.
Yeah.
Because I was about to come here and be like, yo, it's Ray Phoenix. You know what we want. So, but you know, this match in isolation, it's fine. It's fine.
It's right. I mean, even just on that quickly, this Nick Jackson match that he had this week, I think it's the next match we'll talk about. Apparently, that's his 4th singles match. In AEW. So really protecting the fact, obviously, he's a tag team wrestler and really, comes out of that. But yeah, that'll be good. And obviously, him and Ray Phoenix was one of the singles matches he had before when they tore the house down. So yeah, looking forward to what we get. We have a segment of Adam Cole. He's on his crutches now. Obviously, we know what's happened to his ankle. They're out with a boat, MJF's boat. They basically nick it from his dad, and they're going out. They're going to do fishing and stuff like that. MJF questions Adam Cole's loyalty to him because he wasn't there to come to the ring with him when he had his match against Samoa Joe last week at Grand Slam. Obviously, Adam Cole came out in the end and got injured off the back of that. But MJF was just kind of questioning where his loyalty lies. And, he said, Roddy's my guy as well. Like, I've got to kind of split my time. And MJF refusing to kind of understand that. He goes to the drink cooler, plays like he's going to get a drink. The Dynamite diamond rings in there. He's putting it on slow motion. The crowd, you can hear the anticipation in the crowd, like this is where the split happens. Adam Cole obviously clocks what's going on. He goes, "You're not going to punch me and throw me overboard with your diamond ring and stuff." MJF says no. Adam Cole explains to MJF the concept of friendship and you could have more than one friend and stuff like that. MJF says, "Cool. If that's your guy, I'm with it, whatever. He's not my guy in it, but if that's your guy, I respect it." Like I said, they're fishing. They believe they catch something. Camera pans over to the water. It's Captain Insano. It's Big Show. It's Paul White in the water that they've got the fish hook on. He eventually joins them on the edge of the boat. And yeah, we're going to get more Adam Cole and MJF on the night. How did you find that segment?
Do you know what? The segments are entertaining. Are they my cup of tea? No, I think I've grown tired of them. But like, they work for the audience, and it's like they're self-aware cheesy, so it's like fine.
Yeah.
But I'll be real. If you took these segments out of the show, I wouldn't. I think the show would be better for it. But I guess like it was good. I guess it did play into the next one. And one thing I will give these segments, even though they're not for me, is that they always follow up with a promo that builds off of what was said. So
yeah,
we'll get into the segment later, but it was the whole concept about, hey, Adam Cole teaching MJF, you can have multiple friends, and then that played a role in the segment that happened in Ring in it. But overall, it was comedic, but like, yeah, I don't know. It's a bit
it's cheesy, it's cheesy kind of, like you said, self-aware, like, we're just being a bit dorky here, sort of thing. We had a bit more of a serious segment that followed. Don Callis and Takeshita, they went to Tokyo to beat up Kota Ibushi. Now, I think Takeshita had a match in Japan last.
Yeah, they were in DDT.
In DDT, right? Yeah. So, yeah, I thought when they were saying this, what was it, backstage with Renee? I just thought like it was tongue in cheek. Hi, we went to Japan, we beat him up, until this guy played footage of them going into Ibushi's dojo and banging him up. Like, my man used the kettlebell on him. Like, I was like, yo, like this did. I thought that this was a really good segment to kind of help push along this particular story. Like, it really put them over. Like, they're serious on this whole, what did they say, breaking Kenny's heart in regards to Kota Ibushi. I thought this was a really particularly strong segment, and then for me it got a bit poor. So obviously they went out to the ring later on in the night, I'll just cover this segment here. It probably wasn't in order. And they introduced Sammy Guevara into the family, like formally or something like that. Sammy Guevara's got some whole Scarface gimmick now, saying that, you know, Jericho, I haven't really benefited from Jericho at all. Now I found a real family, this, that, and the other. This segment for me didn't do anything to kind of push forward this match. The first bit did with the Kota Ibushi stuff. I don't think this was good. And I'm just looking at Guevara and I'm just thinking, you know, you've done it again. You've done it again. You've done it again. You could have found yourself in another faction, and it's like, bro, like you're not.
You're the least interesting part of the faction now.
Yeah, like we have to talk about Sammy Guevara one day. But
yeah, I agree with you. And you know what I was hoping in this segment? Because while Takeshita was in Japan, like you said, he had a match at the DDT, and they were promoting a future match with him and Chris Jericho in DDT. And he cut a promo. Most of it was in Japanese. Then he started speaking English. And I'm like, we need this in AEW. And I was disappointed they didn't give Takeshita the mic. Because I feel this Don Callis stuff is great. But I feel like the shine needs to be on Don Callis and Takeshita both. And right now, it feels like Don Callis and friends.
Yeah.
And Takeshita is not so much. Takeshita's like here because obviously he has a relationship with Kenny and Ibushi. We get that. But I really want Takeshita, especially when this feud, speak a little. And I think the promo he cut against Jericho, if he cut that promo on Dynamite today and replaced the words Jericho with Omega, it would have been perfect. I said this from early. This is why I didn't want Sammy Guevara here. Because Sammy Guevara, again, what he's done is he's hightailed himself into a pretty hot feud. And he's going to have a great match. It's going to be, and it's going to paper over cracks. You know what I'm saying? It's like a bad player in a good football team. Your performance is being masked by the performance of everyone else. Don Callis, Takeshita, Will Ospreay are gonna go into Wrestle Dream. We're gonna have a great trios match. Everyone's gonna sing the praise of that match, but we're not gonna analyze Sammy Guevara in this because really, Sammy Guevara has no business here.
Yeah.
Outside of Jericho, he has no business in the Don Callis family. His thing is with Jericho, and my thing, what I was hoping for is Sammy Guevara go out on your own. Cool, he didn't win. That's fine. Maybe if it was a temporary alliance thing, I'm for it. But the fact that now you're a member, you don't even fit here. Like all of that, you don't even like all of these man, Ospreay, Takeshita, Don Callis, they're all united by their mutual hatred of Kenny Omega. All three men spent massive time in Japan. Do you know what I'm saying? Like all of these men have common goals. Sammy Guevara, where do you fit? Where do you fit? You don't make sense here. You don't belong here. Like these aren't your boys. You should go out on your own. That's the whole point.
And for him to just say, like, this is my family, sort of thing, like you like you're saying, you're so misplaced here. Like, there's nothing that ties you to anything, and it's just like, this is my family, like so quickly, like I don't know.
Nah, but it's dead, man. It's dead. Like Sammy Guevara for the Wrestle Dream match, it makes sense. Long term, it don't make sense. It don't make sense at all. So I'm like, again, it's like we've been like Sammy Guevara, talented wrestler when it comes to the matches, but now it's weird because beginning of the year, if you told me Jungle Boy would have more direction right now than Sammy Guevara, I'd be laughing at you. But at least Jungle Boy, there's still a lot to improve on. But at least Jungle Boy, I'm like, he's on his own. He's left the Jurassic Express. He's left Christian. He's doing his own thing, and it's moderately successful. Sammy Guevara is rinse and repeat, just a different coat of paint.
But isn't it interesting that they trust Jungle Boy on his own, and Sammy Guevara not they've never trusted Sammy Guevara on his own?
Yeah,
in his whole AEW tenure, like
Yeah.
It's very interesting why they feel like, you know, if it's not Inner Circle, then it was JAS, and now it's not JAS.
Pinnacle-ish.
Yeah, he flirted with the Pinnacle stuff, flirted with being mates with Max, then obviously on screen with his missus, then back to JAS or whatever. Now Don Callis family. Did they not trust this guy on his own or what? Like,
I don't know. And to be fair, like the few times he's been on his own, the TNT title one, even early on this year at Double or Nothing with the 4-way, he didn't make a great account of himself. If we're being honest, he hasn't made the best. Like his TNT title runs are the times where he's been solo the most, and he hasn't made the best account of himself. Yeah, I don't know. I saw the comment. I wouldn't agree that he ruins every faction, because I think
Sammy ruins every faction. Not good enough to go solo because no one cares about him. Everything people say about Austin Theory is exactly how I feel about Sammy. I wouldn't say he ruins the faction. I wouldn't say he ruins the faction at all. Like we're saying, he's a misfit in this current faction.
Yes.
In the Jericho's factions, his head was above water. He was fine. But why is he consistently in factions, in teams, and not on his own and not given that opportunity is the question.
Because now it's like, obviously we know MJF is MJF, but even Darby feels miles ahead of him.
Yeah.
Darby feels like, if you look at the amount of we're going to get into Darby today as well, but even Jungle Boy this year, the feud with Hook, sure, entertaining feud, but it was something. I can't think of that one feud. And Sammy Guevara, I think he's a 3-time or even 2-time TNT champion with notable reigns, but I can't think of, put it this way, I can't even think of Sammy Guevara's best rival. Like his own personal rival that doesn't involve Jericho. Because you say MJF, but then MJF was by proxy of Jericho Appreciation Society. I mean, Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle. Sammy Guevara don't have that. Look what Darby has with Christian. Look what Jungle Boy's built with Hook. Just
Darby
recently.
and Swerve as well.
Darby and Swerve. Darby's got a ton. MJF, we're gonna get into MJF because boy, but Sammy, it's like, I don't know. I don't know.
Elijah, I believe he's answered Cody, which
that lasted like, that was what, early Dynamite.
That was early Dynamite, and then literally on Cody's way out, sort of thing. So but to be honest, it's not the best answer, but it might be the answer. Yeah, it might actually be the answer, although it's not what we're kind of thinking in terms of real heated. Yeah, that's my op kind of stuff. It's very. He seems to be happy in AEW. He's always on TV. That's one thing. He's a fantastic wrestler, but I don't know. Like, there's something else needs to come out of him. He's still a young guy. Maybe it's to come. But because his age rates are passing him.
I saw a tweet, and this is maybe harsh, but how long does Tony have to keep pushing Sammy until he says, you know what, until he's like, okay, the experiment's not working? Because I feel like one thing about Tony Khan, at least with these 4 pillar guys, all of them have been consistently pushed from day one, right? And we're seeing, like, we know who the top 2 are clearly, right? Darby and MJF, they're paying dividends. They can do their own thing. Jungle Boy needs a bit of work, but there's potential there. With Sammy, it's like, we're not saying this now, but will there come a point where we need to, like, it's like football, like you're a young player until you're not a young player anymore. Does it come to a point where we say, do you know what, Sammy? Because let's be real, he's been given a lot of keys. This isn't through lack of effort. Because a lot of the time as wrestling fans, we can say it's the booking. And while the booking is a contributing factor, Sammy's booking hasn't been perfect. There have been a lot of opportunities that have been given. There's been a lot of opportunities. And also your peers, the people you're being compared to, are making use of the opportunities while you aren't. might not be the time, but conversations might need to be had at some point in time.
Yeah. I mean, he's a good worker. I can't imagine he'll ever be forced out the door. He's a good worker at the very least. So it's like, we'll just keep him around to work. But yeah, you're right. You know, like the crowd will soon make a decision on him. They flip flop his character from like face to heel so often as well, which won't be good for building consistency. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes. We jumped there. I knew I jumped. Sorry. So yeah, just going back, we had backstage as well. Ricky Starks was basically saying that, you know, again, putting over the fact that Danielson, you didn't pin me, you didn't tap me out, you never have. And that he's still basically out here and all of that kind of stuff, just showing he's tough and all of that. Utah ran up on him backstage, basically, you know, came to apologize for getting involved and everything. Starks wasn't having it. Utah then flipped on him. Just said, yeah, you're right, you were survived and everything like that. They were going at one another. Utah basically challenged him to a match at Wrestle Dream. So we're going to have one-on-one Ricky Starks versus Wheeler Utah on the card. Then we had this match. This is the winner of this match gets a title shot for the international title. Brian Cage versus Nick Jackson versus Claudio Castagnoli. This was just like PWG greatness. A lot of fun, just constant movement, just non-stop stuff. Nick Jackson looked like he was having the time of his life. Claudio, I look at Claudio and I just think, you can't be a heel if you tried. Like you're too good. Like like people love you. Like you're just too good. Your moveset is too good. You're too entertaining. Brian Cage is excellent as well, and you know we've spoken at length about the issues of Brian Cage and just what it's going to take to kind of get him over and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was great to see kind of Claudio in these positions. Like you'd love to see someone like Claudio just be given the reins to just go out every week and just do a match like this,
wrestle,
just wrestle. Nick Jackson, always great, like we said, to kind of see him in a singles capacity. You don't see that often enough. They kind of keep it like this, so it feels special when we do get it. Brian Cage hitting that F5.
That was crazy.
It was so sick as well. Like it was so well done. And then the finish to this match as well. Obviously, we saw Claudio do the swings on Brian Cage, which was mad. Just size of Brian Cage. Then the finish, we saw the Ricola bomb from Claudio to Brian Cage. Then we saw Nick Jackson jump up on the ropes, do a Hurricane Runner to Claudio out of the ring, and literally as he landed right on Cage, pinned Cage. Beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. So Nick Jackson, he was very surprised. He was very surprised. Gets the win, and he will face Rey Fenix, like he pointed out earlier, next week for the international title. Thoughts on this match?
Oh, I love this match. This was one of the minor things that I liked. I remember the days back in the early Dynamite, right, where you'd get these random fatal four-ways. It'd be like a tag team fatal four-way. And the winner next week faces the tag team champions in AEW. I'm like, and then the fact that it was like, okay, we got Nick Jackson versus Rey Fenix as a throwback anyway. And this was something minor, but I was like, finally, we're getting interesting matchups. I remember in Dynamite, the thing about Dynamite that was beautiful was that you should get random matchups where you're like, I'd never think of that, but this makes sense.
Yeah.
Claudio and Brian Cage, they're not feuding with each other. But it makes sense. And even that, I love Nick Jackson. When they threw him out of the ring and they were just exchanging, doing suplexes and just I said, this is what I want to see. This is exactly just the weird and this is this thing. I feel like TK's always been conservative, but I think in the early days of AEW, when they were trying to find an audience and trying to just establish themselves as, oh, we're different from WWE, you were getting these type of weirdo matches just weekly. Just
weirdo match.
It's just for vibes. Just booking these matches for vibes, and it's like, this is obviously, I understand that you've got, especially now, you've got pay-per-views to build to, and you don't want to fire all your big matches on TV because you've got pay-per-views to build to. But sometimes just book for the fun of it. Sometimes a Dynamite should be a place where, like Gav said, we get the storyline stuff, but sometimes let me get a random match. Let me get a versus Miro. It used to be that all the time. We used to get like mad matches. Like Hangman Page and Omega versus Lucha Bros or some other team here. Just weird matches where it's like Kenny Omega versus a Jungle Boy. Just throwing stuff at the wall. And it's like this
Just
match.
on that quickly, Kenny Omega's not on TV enough.
Yeah,
like,
he's not.
He's just not on TV enough. And I don't know why, but that's another thing.
That man just re-signed. So I'm like, because if he hadn't re-signed, I'd be like, oh, he's off to WWE. At this point, there must be heat backstage, but they re-signed. They gave him a whole video package, and the other elite members are on TV. It's just Kenny.
Yeah,
the other elite members are being prominently featured. It's just Kenny. I'm like, what's going on? Like what's going on? But yeah, just more of this. Like, don't. I feel like you could. The best of AEW was when you had both. You had a Dynamite where you're just getting banger matches. Then you'd close out with like an impactful segment. And I feel like that's why I said, even though I do agree with you where it was like only 4 matches, or 3 or 4 matches, I felt like I got a mixture of what that old Dynamite felt like. With the segments hit today and most of the matches hit today. And I'm like, more of this.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I was thinking of the word, you said weirdo matches. Which is jokes. I was thinking of the word because it's not quite a dream match, but it's just like it's kind of like dream opponents. You just want to see what they can do together.
Let me see it, like an Arsenal would say. Let me see it.
Let me see it.
Let me see it.
It's kind of that situation, and like you said, like I can't remember the amount of times I've watched back maybe like the first 3 Dynamite of all time, the first 3 Dynamites in 2019, when you like the stupid like Cracker Barrel match with Joey Janela and Darby Allin just killing themselves for no reason, like them kind of matches that you got. Like I think Moxley was in like one of them ladder matches or something with Joey Janela.
We got Moxley versus Pac on TV. Moxley versus Pac on a random TV match. I'm like, what?
Yeah, this is it. And obviously it was good because even those matches, sometimes those matches have stakes because the pay-per-views are so few and far between. Like we need to have a title match on the TV show in a week or 2. So yeah, like it was it's needed, it's necessary, man. Like this was very, very enjoyable, and like I say, it had stakes, and we're gonna get Nick Jackson facing Ray Phoenix next week, which is gonna be a treat as well. Yeah, moving on. So we had a segment of the Righteous. They're going after the Ring of Honor tag team titles. Respectfully, I'm happy for people moving up the card, getting opportunities, this, that, and the other all the time, no matter who they are. I just can't get into these guys. So far, I can't get into them. And maybe it's because we've obviously just had, personally, this is for me, we've just had Bray Wyatt pass away recently. I kind of feel the act is somewhat similar, and not that it's rubbing me up the wrong way. I just don't feel the timing is right for this kind of act. I don't know if you see the comparisons as well.
No, I see the comparisons.
Like I don't know. Like maybe I'm not giving him a chance because I'm just thinking this guy just died, and now you're coming on TV with a very similar-ish gimmick, and it's not sitting well with me. I don't know. But
I think personally with the Righteous, I don't care because you're not. There's a clear story being told with Adam Cole, and MJF, and the Kingdom and Roderick Strong. Cool. You want to save that match, fine. But you don't fit. I feel like a team. Okay, if you want a title defense, right? You're not a team that we've seen enough of on AEW for me to get invested. The gimmick feels out of place in this feud. Like we're doing like a friend, like we're telling like a very like personal friendship based storyline, but we're doing cult leader. Where's the correlation? Like you don't make sense. So in the ring, we haven't seen enough of you to be like, okay, cool. We want to see a banging match. Character wise, you guys aren't adding anything interesting to this feud, and MJF and Adam Cole are ignoring you. And personally, for me, like you said, with the whole, you feel like there's no way I can say this respectfully, but you feel like Bray Wyatt knockoffs. So so on all facets, for me, it's like, why should I care? In fact, I'll be real. The MJF, this being a handicap match, has made me a bit more interested in the match, simply because, okay, how is MJF gonna escape this? And obviously that's come at the expense of Adam Cole. And obviously I want Adam Cole to be on the product because he's a major part of the product right now. But the only reason why I'm even invested in the match now is because somebody's injured and now the match is a handicap match, which I think is an interesting dynamic. But the Righteous, I'm not going to sit here and bash them because I'm not familiar with them like that. So, but I just think their placement here is odd in so many different ways, and it's like they were doomed to fail at this point. There are tag teams in Ring of Honor that in AEW that you could have just thrown in there and been like, why not? Why not?
I was thinking after what I just saw on Collision last week, I would have given this place to the Workhorsemen. Like if you're simply just after a defense, give it to the Workhorsemen because they put on a banger with FTR over the weekend. Like the Righteous, like God bless them, innit? Like everyone needs a chance and all of that kind of thing. But I just feel like we're trying to force something here that
where's Butcher and Blade? Where's Butcher and Blade?
Where's Butcher and Blade? Like there's other teams. Yeah.
Let's go back to with the pandemic times. What Butcher and Blade were on TV for weeks. You just see Butcher and Blade
bleeding during COVID. Like, oh my God!
All the time. Throw them here. It would have even made more sense. They debuted in the AEW as MJF's hired guns. Yeah, we're not hired guns anymore. Simple. You don't have to make it come. We're not hired guns anymore. Come, we want the RH tag team titles. Bet. Simples. Butcher and Blade versus. I'm good. The Righteous. Come on, man. Come on, man.
We'll have to see how this goes. But yeah, it led into the segment. Adam Cole comes out on crutches with MJF. They do their entrance as best as they can, obviously, with a man that's on crutches. They get into the ring. Adam Cole's very straight with the crowd. He tells them that, it's not looking good. I've got my ankle shattered in pieces and, I want to do the titles justice, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to have to relinquish the titles. The minute he says relinquish, MJF cuts him off. He's like, you made me wrestle twice in the same night. We're not relinquishing these titles. He then obviously says that you're my guy. I know how much these titles mean to you. I will wrestle alone. I will, make it a handicap match against the Righteous. And that's what they're going to do. So yeah, they kind of, again, Excalibur's been brilliant on commentary, just saying, I just can't believe this is MJF, like really selling that, he's a changed guy, he's a changed character. It wasn't before too long, we got Adam. Roderick Strong rolled out in his hospital garb by the Kingdom, and he's basically saying it's an emergency, come quick, and all that kind of stuff. Adam Cole, he looks towards MJF, and MJF does, he plays off from that Bolt segment that we saw the scene and saying that, I understand, that's your guy, he's calling you, whatever, go off and stuff. They embrace, and Adam Cole goes up the aisleway with Roderick Strong, with the Kingdom. And MJF looked like he's about to continue his promo and all this kind of stuff when Switchblade Jay White's music hits. Gosh. And I literally was like, I turned away for a split second because I thought the segment was finished or going to ad break or something like that. I heard the shing. I said, oh, I was just sitting here like, okay, let's go. Let's see what this is. Because it's the same kind of reaction I had when Hangman was in the ring a couple of weeks ago and you just heard Swerve's music. It's just like, oh, okay, let's see this now. So Switchblade comes down and I can't lie, the opening sparring, let's say, of this promo, when he said a couple bits and bobs, like I was thinking, Jay White, put your best foot forward. You know who you're in the ring with, like, because MJ started going in on him, and obviously saying the whole, they put all the bells and whistles for you to succeed, this, that, and the other. MJF putting himself over, he's the best champion, all of that kind of thing. And then once it was Jay White's time, Jay White went in. NK, I was literally shouting at the screen, Say, you people took 6 months to do this, 7 months to do this. Like, this is what we've been asking for so long. Like, you had a whole bloody feud with Ricky Starks, another great talker, and you lot didn't give us this. Like, thank God it's happened now. But I honestly can't even tell you. There was stuff he was saying that he was saying without a breath. He wasn't even thinking. It was just coming off his tongue, just rolling, just like really standing up to MJF, who we already know is an incredible talker, has had, you know, segments that if you could rate the segments and the promos, you would rate them 5 stars. I was just thinking, you lot took so long to give Jay White this opportunity, and look how loud now we're all saying he's cooked MJF. How often have you ever heard anyone say, you know, this one went toe to toe with MJF, or he cooked MJF? Like, you don't hear it. Like, I was blown away. I was so impressed, and I feel like, right, Jay White has arrived. This was it for me.
That's exactly. This was Jay White's "Do you know who I am" moment.
Yeah,
like when Jay White's music came. Like I said, the opening flurry is cool. When MJF was doing the whole tofu filet mignon thing, I was like, "Ooh, how you gonna respond?" And I remember I was watching this promo, like literally walking to work on my phone, and then when Jay White was like, "Listen, I main event in Madison Square Garden. I am a Grand Slam champion. I am the Switchblade Brave." I'm like, tell these men who you are. This is Jay White. And listen, when Jay White debuted with the Ricky Starks feud, we're all thinking, what's going on? Like, where's the direction? Now I will say this, Jay White, when we talk about Collision, obviously Collision was a CM Punk show. But I think the biggest benefactor of Collision is Jay White and the Bullet Club Gold as a whole.
100%.
Because what Collision did for them, it gave them consistent wins, consistent TV appearances. Yes, didn't have the marquee feuds, but I think it prepared Jay White for, okay, you're a credible guy. You just beat Andrade. Like, you faced off against Punk, you faced off against credible guys. You've got enough pedigree now in AEW world, because for us that know, we know who Jay White is, but for the people who just tuned in to him in AEW, it's like, okay, he's got enough pedigree now to where he can chat to an MJF, but then he needed to knock this out of the park. And by the end of this, I was like, I can't lie, Jay White, take the title now. I was like, take the title now.
Right.
I was like, take it now. Like, even and obviously, if I think logically, no, we still got stories with MJF, but I'm like, Jay White must be an AEW champion. Now, like, we said this when he came in. Like, look at Jay White, look at Grand Slam champion in New Japan. That's fair enough, innit? And we all knew who Jay White was, but sometimes it's like, if you don't see something, you stop believing in it. And I was like, okay, maybe it might be a. Now I'm like, no, you look what you've done with Jay White. Look at that promo, that level of promo. To go toe to toe with MJF is not easy. And I'm like, I need to see Jay White. And obviously, we it feels like weekly MJF appreciation on this pod. But I'm so sorry. Like, MJF, right? Just in his short career, I saw Twitter, and I'm going to list off some of like the incredible promo battles this guy's had. MJF Jericho, MJF CM Punk, MJF William Regal, MJF Ricky Starks, MJF Adam Cole, MJF Samoa Joe, MJF Jay White. We talk about Matt's resume. We talk about catalog. Matt's doing promo catalog now. He's too clear.
He's clear.
How can you have, like, deep it? Because and 3 of those promos, right? Jay White yesterday, Samoa Joe like maybe 2 weeks gone, Adam Cole all came this year. In the same year, you're having matches with Danielson. The same year, you're having matches with Takeshita. The same year, you're having the 4 Pillars match, putting on bangers, having the match with Adam Cole again at Wembley. Now you're gonna add Jay White to the resume. I can't lie. You see, when we do tier rankings this year,
he's clear. He's honestly
so
clear.
He's so clear.
He's been a phenomenal world champion. Like, in a company where there is a Moxley, there is an Omega, there's a Chris Jericho, and these men have been also champions. Like, And we talk about the gulf of MJF and the 4 pillars. There's a gulf between MJF now and the rest of these other world champions.
Yeah, I can't lie.
There is a gulf.
Because before it was like Kenny is the gold standard, and Kenny was like excellent. But the volume of work MJF has put in, like because remember, we're still telling this Adam Cole story, which is probably the best story in AEW. But now you're adding Jay White to the mix. And already, if we're gonna go by this segment, 10-10, and then you do the ending segment as well. The resume is resume indeed. This is elite resume already, and this is the first title reign, Mekz. This is number 1. This is his first time here, but he's already been here.
Yeah, literally, because you can tell because of who he is. He studied this. He's planned this. He's planned out how I'm going to be world champion, kind of world champion I'm going to be years ago. Like, it's phenomenal stuff. Like, he's something else. But like you said, Jay White got to be inserted into the title picture at this point. And you know, we've said for a long time, probably looks like Adam Cole will be the guy to take it off him. Adam Cole's obviously got to do surgery now. I don't know when he's going to be back in terms of his foot. Wrestle Dream is going to happen. We don't know. Oh no, Wrestle Dream is October. So then the next pay-per-view, Full Gear, in November. That'll be about a year from when MJF has won it. I mean, has Switchblade Jay White entered the chat?
Hey man, do you know what? It's weird because if I think about it logically, okay, you've got so many like loose threads with the whole Adam Cole, Roderick. Like, we still haven't even got MJF versus Roderick Strong, which I think is a match that needs to happen for this whole story. Like, you know, that match needs to happen at some point. But this, and obviously it's a title match, so Jay White losing to Adam Cole isn't a bad thing. But at this point, it's like, this is kind of the thing, but this is the good headaches you need in wrestling, where it's like both people can come out victorious.
Yeah.
And this is the one thing I'll say about MJF's reign that separates it from the previous reigns is the unpredictability. Kenny Omega with Chris Jericho's reign was very short, so we didn't know how it was going to end. In all fairness, with John Moxley's reign was kind of plagued by the pandemic. So at the time, I wasn't really thinking about who's taking it off him. It was more so, can we just get out of this pandemic? And I feel like his first reign wasn't bad, but it was scarred by the pandemic.
Those two, just to stop you there before you keep going, those two as well, we obviously know it was giving the title to people that were TV faces that the crowd and people already knew as well.
Yes.
So Jericho went first, then Moxley off the back of his WWE run. But then you said, like you said, it's plagued with pandemic. Go on, keep going.
Yeah, and then obviously Kenny Omega, which was masterfully predictable because of Hangman Page, but they told an amazing story, so we didn't mind. CM Punk, what title reign? Oh no, yeah, Hangman Page happened, and you know, started off slow, but it picked up steam. But then CM Punk happened. CM Punk, what title reign? John Moxley. To be fair, the John Moxley situation again was a weird one because it happened. We knew this is only happening because of the absence of a certain someone, and then again, CM Punk comes back. So we haven't really had a title reign that's felt this unpredictable. Don't like intentionally, because the Moxie CM Punk ones were due to circumstances. But like we all went to All In thinking, hey, it's 50-50 now. I'm not sure. And obviously, I wouldn't say Jay White MJF is 50-50. But if MJF comes out with the title, Jay White comes out with a title where like they have been building him.
Yeah.
So, and this is another dynamic of MJF's title reign that just separates it from the others that have come before. Where it's like, now even obviously Samoa Joe to a lesser degree. Even Samoa Joe at Grand Slam, I was like, if Joe wins, I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, I'm not mad. It's true.
How many times in the title reign can you say where the champion is doing well, this MJF is cooking, where you could say, you know what? I don't mind if the champion loses because the opponent has been built to a level or is doing stuff to a level where I'm ready. That's three defenses in a row. I believe it. Yeah, that's 3 defenses in a row where I believe it.
Yeah, the excitement was for me, and obviously we don't since Collision especially we don't get Jay White on Dynamite, and that was like like shocker in itself, and it makes me think that maybe is the plan to maybe give him the title so he has a base with the title on Collision, because we don't really see MJF on Collision too tough, and maybe that's a way to kind of get a world champion on Collision consistently and give that show a rub and help their numbers and stuff like that. But very, very entertaining stuff here. It was a great segment. Following this, we had a sit-down interview with Darby Allin and Christian Cage, being mediated by Jim Ross. Christian was just doing his best to kind of wind up. I love the line where he said, you know, I didn't win the title, I retained the TNT title, I was always the champion. And he's just getting at Darby Allin, you know, getting at his deceased uncle, you know, calling out his you know, cool buddy Wayne, obviously Nick Wayne's the dead dad, and all of this kind of stuff. He's really just trying to get at Darby Allin, and Darby Allin just not letting him kind of get to him, pouring water on his face to show him like, I'm a guy. Good little promo. It just feels to me that they've done this match like consistently now on TV and like, airing at least. So I don't know. The 2 out of 3 falls thing will be interesting. It'll be a good match. It's just like my waning. I want to see Christian still be this heel champion, but let's go off and tangle with some other people now.
So this is one of the things that I love them. I've said this on the show many times. Bring back the JR sit down interviews.
Yes, yeah, 100.
And this is why you bring them. I really enjoyed this segment. Like, really enjoyed. I do like when the match was announced. I was like, okay, we're doing Darby and Christian again, but just the chemistry these two have. Christian's incredible, but like I just felt the tension in between, and this is kind of where I said this felt like an old Dynamite. When I think of JR sit down talks, I think of the talk that Hangman and Omega had with the Young Bucks,
the Bucks,
the title match at Revolution. I feel like I remember when they did their tournament for the AEW title tournament for Full Gear, where it was Hangman on one side of the block and Omega. Every week, JR would do an interview with either Hangman or Omega, saying on how they feel. We had when CM Punk joined the company, you had sit-down talks. This is what we need, because I feel like even back in WWE, before people kill me, I'm not comparing it, so I'm just using this example. Austin and The Rock in the locker room. JR's in the middle. This is what we've said, JR in commentary ain't it. But this is what JR's good for. Yeah. This hasn't left him. And I felt like this was my second favorite segment of the night. I enjoyed this segment a lot. I just felt like everything made sense. Like, you had Christian's petty dig, but when it was time to get serious, they got serious. And this is me speculating. I don't want to set mad expectations for fans. Christian said Luchasaurus ain't gonna be in the ring. We expect Christian to retain. Luchasaurus ain't gonna be in the ring. Somebody's contract's up on Saturday. Somebody's contract's up. And for people saying, but they're not gonna boo Edge, where are they? In Seattle, Darby's hometown. You cost the hometown boy the match, you're getting booed.
That's true.
You're getting booed. Edge comes in on the man. I don't know what his name he's gonna go by because Edge is copyrighted, but you know, Edge comes into the ring, cost Darby the match. Hey, if it don't happen, fine. This is me speculating, but I was like, yeah, okay, you've banned Luchasaurus, but Christian ain't winning clean. We know he's not winning clean. So shenanigans. That's what I'm saying. Shenanigans.
Yeah, I'm here for it. I think with the last week they've had, I think not that they need something big, but you know, I feel like a response would be nice for the fans. Yeah, I was poo-pooing it as well when we spoke on the podcast. It's coming out tomorrow. Like I said, yeah, he's a face. Like the crowd are going to love him. But if he does exactly like you said, he makes the appearance, he'll get that initial pop. But it's literally to run a spear and take out Darby, throw him back into the ring so Christian can get the final pin on him. Yeah, you're not gonna be so loved after that. So yeah, it could happen. Look, it could happen.
In the words of Young Spray, AEW needs to go machine for machine.
machine
for machine. That's what I want to see. I want to see transfer windows. I want to see, cool. Jade Cargill, Edge. You man sign whoever, back and forth, bass and ball. I want to see warfare. Not Twitter fingers. Okay, you took my talent. I'm taking your guy. That's what we need. We need it.
It'll be good. And I think it's inevitable. Edge joins. It's just where and when. And this could be a good place, like you say. Cool. We had a fatal 4-way next. These are the participants of who is going to be in the tag team #1 contender match, if you like, on the pay-per-view. So Penta El Zero versus Orange Cassidy versus Matt Jackson versus Austin Gunn. Just similarly to like what we were saying with that triple threat match earlier. This was just a lot of fun, a lot of different moving parts in this match. They all got their spots in, they all got their bits in. There was the part where I joined when Matt Jackson was hitting his Northern Lights suplex to try pin all these other 3 men at the same time. Orange Cassidy got the win with a orange punch to Matt Jackson, pinned Matt Jackson. Doesn't mean anything. I guess he just gets the upper hand going into this tag team match where he's going to team with Hook. Obviously, Matt Jackson's got his brother, Penta's got his brother, and then the Guns as well. So they're brothers too. So it's gonna be interesting. That match on the pay-per-view in itself is just all right. Like they just wanted to probably give us Banga Badizio in that shape of a tag match. So yeah. And then we got to the women's match. Let's talk about this. In fact, we'll leave the talk that I want to have in a second. But Willow versus Julia Hart. So obviously Willow's come out with her face is all basically wrapped up her eye because she's been hit with the mist. A great showing by both ladies. I was vocal, I know, last week or so over the weekend when they announced that this match is going to happen, because I thought like Willow's been on a relatively good trajectory, and now she's probably going to get pinned by Julia Hart because they're obviously doing a thing with Julia Hart. But I'm sold, NK. I'm sold. Julia Hart, like the presentation is next to none, and not just that. I'm trying to look beyond. I was literally over the weekend when she obviously there was the Rampage match, there was a Collision match. I was trying to be critical. I was trying to say, trying to find reasons to say she's not ready, sort of thing, beyond the presentation. But she has got a lot better in the ring. Like she's putting in the work, it's paying off. The presentation is brilliant. Brody by her side is excellent. Like everything is coming together, and she's got this match on the pay-per-view with Chris Statlander. And I'm sorry,
win it. Yeah,
100%. I'm here for it because Statlander, as great as she is, I don't want to see. I don't need to see another. She just beats everyone they put in front of her. Reign. We saw that with Jade. So let's chop and change. Let's move this title around a bit. The iron is hot strike. Like right now, and Julia Hart's getting big reactions from the crowd as well. Like even just over the weekend where they've just consistently booked her, like on the Friday show, Saturday, now on Wednesday. Like the reactions are growing. They have to do it.
Yeah. I was when I saw the match graphic, I was saying was just like, bruv, like Willow's got momentum, and I still think she shouldn't have beat Willow. You could have put someone else in there, like I don't know, Emi Sakura or someone, I don't know, but Willow discussions for another day. But you've got something good in Julia Hart now, and I was a big fan of Chris Statlander. There's nothing there, character-wise.
Yeah, there isn't.
And if we're keeping it a buck, the main selling point was the Chris Statlander matches. She's better than Jade. But she's not having these blow away I must pay attention matches. They're just solid. It's not like Jamie Hayter's AEW title run where it's like, hold on a minute. These matches are good, man. They're good.
On that, yeah, they're committing the exact same crimes that they did with Jade, because they're giving her the people that have been wrestling for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, like they did with Jade. The minute that Jade, had matches with a Taya Valkyrie or a Ruby Soho, someone that even just has 5, 10, 15 years experience, like the matches were better. Like, give Statlander, give her age mates to wrestle. You see what I mean? Like, just stop giving her all these people that it's like, okay, yeah, it's a good match because she's putting in the work, but like, yeah, we're not interested. Britt Baker's the biggest opponent she's had in terms of name stature, and even then, most people would argue Britt Baker's not like the best worker that they have in the women's division. So they're not setting them up for success. So yeah, Statlander, like you're saying, we like her. She's a good wrestler, but no character. She's come against someone now that is, progressively her moveset is getting better developed. The moonsault last night that she won with, excellent. Like, the presentation, I can't stop talking about it because it's everything. Like, I don't even know how much she really needs to do in ring with that presentation and Brody by her side.
Bro, and the things with House of Black, we know with House of Black by her side, she can do so many shenanigans. The mist, the like with this TBS title, she don't even need she don't even need to cut promos. She just come out, do the mystical thing, bro. It was like, because I remember there was a long period of time when she first joined House of Black as the cheerleader. We're like, okay, they were teasing it for ages, and then we saw her first ring gear, and I was like, this is dead. What's this ring gear? But slowly over time, she's morphing, she's cooking something, and I feel like, you know what? She's what the TBS title needs. We said this with Statlander, true, but I feel like with this, you can smoke and mirrors it, and that's the point. Just do smoke and mirrors. Like, and she's getting better in ring, but even forget the in ring. Just smoke and mirrors the division. Just come shenanigans, mist, backstage promos. That's all you need. Do I think they're gonna do it? No, because TK ain't gonna. TK, I know TK's booking pattern. We know when someone's ready for a title. This is one of those one where TK is gonna miss the ball. TK is loyal to a fault. Statlander's been out for a while. She was supposed to win the title a long time ago. He wants to give her a good reign, a long reign. To be fair, she won the title Double or Nothing, but you know how TK is. He'll give her maybe to Full Gear or Revolution. Nothing less of that. The iron is hot. Strike now, but I think Statlander retains on Sunday, unfortunately. That's just the way it's gonna be.
I think with Julia Hart, like you were saying, the title has been very much match. No matter who's had the title, Statlander, Jade Cargill, it's been match. Now you have the opportunity to make it very character-led, story-led, and stuff like that. You put Julia Hart in this position. You wanted her to have the defense. Maybe the plan initially was, Statlander can take her undefeated streak, because they're obviously selling us a lot on the undefeated streak as well. Or maybe that's just what they're using to help build her up and give her some wins on TV. But you can now see the reactions. Like, I'm literally telling you, over the last 5 days, where you've put her on TV like 3 times in 5 days or so, the reactions are growing every single time. The level of investment is rising every single time. Yes, it may not have been your initial plan. My guy, adapt and go with it. Like, we're not just Statlander could beat her for it, in a matter of weeks or so. Like, Full Gear, they run it back, she wins it back. Like, I just feel like right now we are kind of cooking up something special. I don't know where Julia Hart goes if she loses on the weekend.
Yeah, I don't see a road for her, because she's I don't see a road for her.
Yeah, it's early in her career. She's still 21 and stuff like that, but she's doing all the right things right now that you asked of her, and it just feels like people, although people love Stat, people wouldn't mind seeing this right now. So
I don't want to be a bad guy. I don't want to put women against each other. But Julia Hart's progression has made me look at a certain wrestler sideways.
Who?
Anna Jay. Yeah. Discussions need to be.
I hear it. There's nothing to say, to be honest. There's nothing to say. It's facts.
Because if you see the way they both came in, right? Same, the look was good, but they needed work, right? Both weren't Marvel's in ring, right? Anna Jay's had an odd good match. Like I remember the match she had with Jade last year, I think on a Rampage. Pretty decent match. But Anna Jay, let's be real, hasn't amounted to much. And yes, the issue as a whole is the women's division booking, right? Yes. But do something to make yourself stand out. Your job is to make us question TK. Why aren't you booking this person? I miss this person. Why aren't you booking them? Every time Anna Jay's been on TV, she hasn't made me miss her. You know what I'm saying? Julia Hart, granted, yeah, they put her with House of Black, but it wasn't a seamless transition. You could see the work, not even just in ring, but on character, on aesthetic has been put in to now, where we're now, if she doesn't win on Sunday, we're not questioning her, we're questioning the booking. That's what, as a wrestler, yeah, the booking ultimately is what's going to take you to that level. But you as a wrestler, do your best to put yourself in the right conversations. Make us miss you. Make us ask questions of the management of why they ain't booking you, because you're so undeniable to us. And I feel like with Anna Jay, I forget she's in the company half of the time. Ain't nobody asking me, hey, what's Anna Jay doing these days? No, I don't really care.
With Anna Jay, I think she's been hidden, obviously, in, again, the faction, the JAS and all this kind of stuff. And then when she's not, she's coming out with Daddy Magic and what's his face, Angelo Parker, who are largely jokers, comedy wrestlers, whatever the case is. So yeah, in terms of we're just comparing presentations, hers hasn't really been the best. Her best time to kind of blow, if you like, was probably Dark Order days. But even then, like, they lost their way after the passing of Brody. So it's for her right now, her best bet, like we've been saying, is to join up with Jungle Boy. Do this Hollywood couple, or like Rough Riders kind of thing. Like, that is her best bet, at least from a presentation character point of view. The wrestling can obviously still take time to come along, whatever. But you know, you got to take a chance when you get it. And Julia Hart, like we're saying, has definitely taken her chance this week alone, to kind of build herself and build intrigue in her. And then the show finished up with the contract signing, Hangman Page, Swerve Strickland. There was just a lot of good one-liners in here, and you know, Hangman Page just kind of reiterates when he's in these kind of segments that despite, you know, there's a flavor of the month in Kenny Omega as a face, MJF is obviously the current, you know, the one that everyone loves and doing great work as a babyface. But the forever babyface champion of this company is Hangman Adam Page. And he just showed it in this segment. Just like, he's just so likable, even admitted at times everything that Swerve said to him that kind of started the feud. Yeah, you were right. Like, you rubbed me up the wrong way. It got me a bit pissed off at the time, but you were right. And it was just a good, honest kind of conversation between these two guys. Obviously, it ended in the way that contract signings tend to end, with a bit of a scrap and stuff like that. Security pulling them back. But there were some great lines in here. The one that Swerve kind of finished off with about that it's not about the box shot, it's about the kill shot or something like that. He said. Yeah, man, I really enjoyed this segment going into Wrestle Dream, this has kind of been one of the most featured matches going into that pay-per-view as well.
Honestly, I look at this match as I think obviously the main event in terms of like, it's probably going to be Danielson's Zack Sabre Jr. because that's the dream match. But what I'm looking at in terms of build, this is my main event. This is my main event. I'm just very interested in like just where each character goes from here. And this is again, this reminds me again, like I said, I got flashbacks to old AEW again. Kenny Omega Hangman Page contract signing right before Full Gear. Obviously, that one, the stakes were just ridiculously high.
Yeah.
And I'm not, but it was, and this is where Hangman's at his best. Like, Hangman's is a very interesting promo where he's not like as charismatic or witty, and his promos don't flow like MJF or Jay White's tonight, but they mean something. Like, it's very heartfelt. And I look and I feel like that's the appeal of Hangman, because I remember when people were first getting into AEW, there was like a mass like introduction of fans when CM Punk or Danielson joined, and they weren't really familiar with Hangman, and there's the whole discourse about, I don't get Hangman, why do you man like him?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's more than just like the match. He's an incredible wrestler in ring, but Hangman is just so human. In the world of pro wrestling, where there are these super just extroverted, over the top characters, Hangman Page just feels so authentic. He's nervous, he's anxious, he's shy. He touched upon this on the promo, but that's why we relate to him, because he's just like, he's the everyman.
He's a regular bro, yeah.
He's really an everyman. I know some people might say that's a cop out, it should be, but I feel like the reason why it works, because in a world where everyone is so heightened, in a world of pro wrestling where everyone is just these 100% exaggerated version of themselves, sometimes the person who's just chilling, in a regular jacket, not wearing their merch, he stands out. The guy who has drinking problems, the guy who has social anxiety, the guy who can't keep a friendship to save his life, the guy, despite the fact that he's been world champion, despite all of the accolades he's had in AEW, still feels like he's not good enough. That's who Hangman Page is, and that's why we like him. And this segment was perfect in terms of just showing people why Hangman Page, like you said, is the baby face of AEW.
Yeah, he's like you said, he's just the everyman, and he's so relatable. Just doesn't come across like a pro wrestler with rah speeches, just speaking like from his heart. Like, it's not even like he's thought about what he's saying. It's just something, it's like word vomit, like it's just coming out as it is, sort of thing. So yeah, that was the end. Well, then we got obviously the segment at the end that we discussed at the beginning, with Jay White being attacked by the Masked Man and his crew. So yeah, that was the Dynamite go home show to AEW Wrestle Dream. I guess on Saturday we will get a Collision go home show, maybe of some sort. Maybe that's where we'll see the likes of Danielson. Maybe ZSJ will turn up.
Did you see the match that got announced for Collision? So I think it's Danielson, FTR, and Wheeler Utah versus Ricky Starks, Big Bill, Aussie Open, with Zack Sabre Jr. on commentary.
Okay, yeah. We're gonna get something. We'll get something between them. It's cool. All right. So yeah, just wanted to go through to end today's stream by just doing some predictions for it. We'll just go through these quickly. Ricky Starks versus Wheeler Utah. I'm going with Ricky Starks. What do you think?
Ricky Starks.
Yeah. We got the 4-way tag team match for a future AEW World title shot. Tag team title shot. Young Bucks versus the Guns versus the Lucha Bros versus Orange Cassidy and Hook.
Orange Cassidy and Hook win.
Yeah, I'll go with them. Yeah, Cassidy and Hook. Yeah. Singles match for the AEW TBS title. Julia Hart against the defending Chris Statlander. My heart says Julia Hart. My head says Stat. Because I don't like being wrong, I'll go with Statlander.
Yeah, but do you know what? I'm gonna go with my heart today. I'm gonna go with Julia. Even though I said I think Statlander's gonna win, let me bet with my heart today.
Yeah, I'd love Julia Hart to win, but let's just see. Just on that quickly, if Julia Hart was to win, how do you want her to sell the fact that she's won the title? Like, oh my god, or do you want it to be very in character? Like,
hold it high, hold it high, and you know the banner that comes down. Have the banner come down, just straight face, no sell it. Yeah, I'm champion now. Now what? Don't sell nothing. Don't sell it. Don't sell it.
That would be cool. Eddie Kingston putting up the Ring of Honor World title as well as the Strong Openweight title against Shibata.
Eddie Kingston retains. He just got the title with it. Yeah, he retains.
Yeah.
He retains.
Yeah, likewise. That's what I think. Christian Cage.
I forgot this match was on the card. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think it would have been more intriguing if Shibata put up the Pure Championship as well.
Yeah,
but with just this guy putting up his, I was thinking, yes, it's bait. Christian Cage versus Darby Allin, TNT title.
Christian Cage
to retain. Likewise, the trios match: Chris Jericho and the Golden Elite, Omega and Ibushi, going up against Takeshita, Sammy Guevara, and Will Ospreay. Don Callis on the side. Who do you think wins?
Golden the Elite, because I think Sammy's there to take the pin.
I mean, that makes sense.
He's the only person I see in this match that can visualize getting pinned.
Yeah, fair enough. Do I think these other guys can win? I mean, I still think they're here, doing the most for Will. So
yeah,
maybe that's a choice. Will pin someone over there, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not too sure on that one. I'm sure on this one, MJF going up against the Righteous on his own. MJF to retain for me some way, somehow. What do you think?
MJF retains, man.
Yeah.
But not to get into it too much, but MJF, like them not relinquishing the titles kind of gives me hope that Adam Cole's back sooner than expected.
Yeah. Foot injuries don't tend to last too long. And I think the only reason they're going ahead with this is because they already kind of, booked it and said it. And otherwise, it's like, what's the world champion going to do on this card sort of thing? So they can easily just now, once they have this match with the Righteous, not to book these titles. So yeah, we'll see. I don't think he'll be out for too long though.
Yeah.
FTR defending the AEW World Tag Team Championships against Aussie Open. Banga Badizio incoming. I'm going to go with FTR just because of the way Aussie Open have been booked recently in the last month or so. Like, it hasn't looked good for them. So we know they have bags of talent, but it just hasn't looked good for them. So I'll stick with FTR.
Yeah, I agree with you. If they heated up Aussie Open more, I'd have because what I will say on FDR's behalf, they've been defending the titles a lot recently.
Yeah.
So it kind of feels like, when a title run is coming to the end, they'll ramp up the amount of defenses. It kind of feels like that. But in Aussie Open, don't have a lot of heat on the products. So if they were to win the title, I'd be gassed, but I don't know how the reaction would be in crowd.
Yeah.
I think Aussie Open will take the titles off FTR, but maybe it's a thing where this is like the first of many.
Yeah. Could be next month. Could be Full Gear. Full Gear.
I feel like Aussie Open need to be heated up a bit more before they take the titles off him. So I'll go with FTR.
Cool. Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland.
Swerve.
Yeah. Swerve needs it. I don't think they'll be finished post this particular match anyway. So I'll go with Swerve for the first win. And then the dream match, Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr.
I mean, it has to be Danielson, man. Like, it's Danielson. Like, don't get me wrong. Do you know this? I don't like the fact that Zack's lost twice here on AEW. I do want Zack and Zack's someone else. I think I was listening to your show with Joe on the WrestleMania podcast, and he was saying Zack seems like another person who's kind of destined to be in AEW, which I agree with as well. So I mean, you're not giving him a win over Danielson. I think Danielson right now, it's almost like he said, I'm done losing. This is my retirement tour. I'm going to start winning.
Start frying guys, yeah,
because before in AEW, like, he used to be very comfortable taking pins, and now it's like, I'm not taking no pins. Like, I'm winning all the time.
I fell off my chair when he beat Okada. I couldn't believe it.
Gobbed.
I couldn't believe it. Like, I could believe it because obviously the character Darius is excellent, but I just couldn't believe it. Like,
when he beat up, I was like,
yeah.
And then he just smoked Ricky Starks twice, and I'm like, yeah, Danielson's like he's doing big boy politics now. So I think he's gonna
even
win.
that, like you rightly mentioned Ricky Starks. I thought obviously he won the what was that, All Out, where he faced Ricky the first time.
Yeah,
All Out.
What
match was that again? The strap match.
Strap match.
Yeah. So yeah, he won there, and I thought, oh, this is him giving Ricky a win, the Texas Death Match. Nope. So yeah.
And I'm okay with that. I'm actually okay.
Yeah.
I'm cool. Yeah, because I'm like, I think Daniel said the AEW, like, if he's given, I mean, he let Daniel Garcia beat him twice.
Yeah.
Which has kind of gone nowhere, which I'm disappointed with, but we move. So I'm like, Danielson, I can't lie, you're a GOAT. Start politicking. Start politicking. Now, get your wins.
Yeah. And I don't think anyone will be mad at it as well. And I think, like you said, probably main event, Zack Sabre Jr. being in the main event would be fantastic anyway for his profile. So yeah, obviously we look forward to anything else that could possibly get added. I think a 10-match card is a bit small for AEW when it comes to pay-per-views. So there might be another 2 to 3 matches added post Rampage and Collision. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see. And then obviously we've got Wrestle Dream on the weekends. So by the time we obviously film next, Wrestle Dream and a whole nother Dynamite would have happened. So we're gonna have a lot to talk about next week. So make sure you tune in 8 p.m. on the WrestHingS channel. Any last things when we get out of here, NK?
No, man. Yeah, just become a member. Join our Discord, all that lovely stuff. Share, just share Revolution Radio, man. We appreciate all you guys commenting live. We want to see a lot more people live as well, man. So keep sharing this.
That's right. Cool. So you guys have a good week. Hope everyone enjoys AEW Revolution, AEW Wrestle Dream. And yeah, we'll be back same time next week. See you guys soon.